Hello again, everyone. It's Monday evening, the second Monday of the month, so it's my video blog post, December 14th, 2020 at 10:30 p.m. And this is my holiday message for 2020 to all of you. And specifically in this message, I want to talk about three of my favorite words, which are perspective, perception, and positivity. You know, 2020 has been a tough year for a lot of people. I know it was a new experience for me. You know, it's a flip side of a coin. I think every year we all say the same thing. It seems to me on one side of the coin that the year just dragged by with all the drama there was this year, the hate, the violence, obviously a crazy election cycle, the pandemic, people being out of work, working from home, homeschooling their children. In one respect, the year kind of dragged by due to all the drama. But on the flip side of the coin, I say to myself, wow, it's Christmas again? It seems like it was just Christmas 2019. You know, each year brings a lot of different things, a lot of different challenges, a lot of different dramas into our life. And 2020 certainly brought its fair share of that. There's millions of people across the country that are financially suffering, and all we could do is hope that Congress could get their act together and do what they need to do to help these people. But there was multiple other changes. 2020 looked completely different than any other year. Our lives looked completely different than any other year. And especially for me, I had two books I was going to publish this year, and I decided it wasn't the right time to do that. All my speaking engagements, due to restrictions and COVID gathering regulations, were canceled, which, you know, was a good thing for me because the last 2 years of my life have been so hectic with traveling and publishing books. Frankly, I needed a year break. And with my upcoming relocation down to Florida in the next, hopefully, 3 months or so, I just had so much to get done. So for me, being hunkered in at home was not that big of a deal because it gave me an excellent opportunity to get these things accomplished. But with that said, it was also different for everyone else. This was not what we consider our normal. You know, the human brain is a funny organ. We will adapt to things given enough time. And over time, a lot of people did adapt to the new normal. But people also got really, really tired of it. And, you know, this is a tough thing to beat. It's going to take some time. Thank God there's vaccines coming, and hopefully they'll work. And as they say on the news, there is that light at the end of the tunnel, and that's what we need to look forward to. So all of this comes down to perception, or I should say perspective. Let me use the right word that I'm talking about here. Thousands of homes, thousands of families have lost loved ones to the virus this year, natural causes and unforeseen causes. And you know, those things happen every year, and they're very, very difficult to deal with. Partnerships end oftentimes before a holiday, which makes it even more challenging. And that changes our perspective of the holiday, you know. And this leads to increased depression, drug overdose, domestic violence, alcoholism. And you've heard all these things on the news. You've seen all the things that have happened this year. So one has to say to themselves, how do you not become depressed over it, you know? Well, how you not become depressed over it is your perspective on it. And with me, I always try to look for that silver lining around every single cloud, because every single cloud has a silver lining, and all those clouds will eventually pass. So with that, my perspective is one of positivity. You know, and I look for what's positive and what is taking place. So in my particular case, the positivity for me is it really gave me time. It gave me a year off to do some additional writing, to get the things done around my home, to get ready to do my relocation, and put some time into spending with my family that I was kind of very lax in doing over the past couple of years because of all my traveling. So perspective and positivity kind of go together. You know, if you're going to look at anything negatively and look at just all the bad aspects to it, then it's impossible not to be depressed. And there's not a lot you can do about it unless you change your perspective. You know, when we lose loved ones, that's one of the most difficult things to deal with. But the thing about losing a loved one is, and the way I look at that, because it's negative no matter how you look at it, but how do you turn something like that into a positive? And the real question is, can you really turn that into a positive? And I don't really think you can, but I think you have to come to a peace in your mind and in your heart to know that no matter who you've lost or for whatever reason you've lost, they're always in your heart, they're always in your mind, and they're always going to be with you. All you need to do is think about them and think about the memories. So is that a form of positivity? I guess one might say that it is. And that's kind of the perspective that you need to have going into this holiday season. The next thing is perception. And, you know, perception is different for everybody. I may say things or say something meaning one thing, and I know what I mean. However, you may perceive it completely different. That's what happens on the news, and that's the one problem with the news media. And the news media was a major problem this year for a lot of different reasons. And we're not going to get into that. I've wrote about this in my posts numerous times, and I'm not going to be redundant in it. People have their own decisions. The same thing when it comes to gatherings at Thanksgiving that we were warned about, and now we're being warned about gatherings at Christmas time. You know, and again, it's whatever your perspective is. So my perspective on something like that is, this is my house, and I'm going to do what I want to do in it. I'm going to do it safely, and I'm going to take the necessary precautions, but I'm going to do it. I am not going to not see my family or spend time with my family because of it. Because the one thing I do believe is that whenever we allow anything to totally control us, then we're already beaten to begin with. So you have to find a way to know it exists, live within the restraints that it's causing on you right now, and do it in a way that works for you to give you a little bit of peace of mind. Women right now, next to our first responders and healthcare workers and so on, essential workers and so on and so forth, are so overwhelmed. You know, a lot of women right now, and men for that matter, are working from home. They're also burdened now with the extra task of virtual learning for their kids for school. And it's a lot of pressure. And those who are doing it, who have lost their jobs, and with now a lot of government aid programs soon coming to an end, especially for small businesses, it puts a ton of financial strain on people. When you add all of this up, you say to yourself, how in the heck can I enjoy Christmas? But you can, all right? And that's my message to you. You can enjoy this holiday. And that all depends on my three favorite words: perspective, perception, and positivity. Have the right perspective on it. And the way to do that is to be thankful for what you have, okay? Because it could always be worse. I don't care what's going on in your life. It could always be worse. So be thankful for the family that you have. Be thankful for the friends that you have, the time that you could spend with them, and enjoy their company. And that'll change your whole perspective on the holiday. The holiday becomes exciting again. And you know what? I thought it was wild that I went to Home Depot in October and there were already Christmas trees out. You know, I think advertising for Christmas has gotten so commercial that by the time Christmas comes, you're sick of it and you can't wait for it to be over. But you have to look past that, you know, and do what you want in your own home. You know, I still don't put my Christmas tree up until after Thanksgiving. And that's that. I was raised that way. That was the era I was raised in. So I don't start thinking about Christmas till after Thanksgiving. This way I don't become tired and get this attitude that I can't wait for it to come and be over with. So that's how I changed my perspective on it, which goes along with positivity. It helps in my positive thinking towards whatever task I'm working on. And then add my third favorite word, perception, into it, is I perceive things in what they are in the form of reality, not what they are in a fantasy world. So, for example, I know I'm going to see things on the news that are biased. I know I'm going to hear different opinions from people, especially with all the stuff that's going on with this probably the most messiest election that this country has ever had in its history. And you have to realize that there's going to be 1,000 opinions, and the millions on top of millions of people are going to perceive things differently. Choose the way you want to perceive it and stick by that. That'll give you some degree of comfort. So that's my holiday message to everybody, and my three favorite words: perspective, perception, and positivity. So with that, I'd like to wish everyone a great evening and a happy Hanukkah, a Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. And let's keep our hopes for 2021 high. Change whatever it is you want to change from 2020 and look forward to a hopefully much brighter future. Thank you and have a good night.